Have you ever wanted to know what it feels like to hit the lottery? I'm just going to tell you that I feel like I hit the lottery, and you will too. When you meet my next guest today, we are going to hear from Miss Sara McDaniel. She is the closest we're going to get to a movie star on the podcast here. So I'm super excited for you guys to meet her and hear all of the golden nuggets she has to share with us for your business. So tune in and listen. Hello, my creative friend. Welcome to Creatives on Fire. Are you oh so tired of the constant struggle to keep up on social media? Do you wish you had more time freedom to actually be creative? Well, listen, I'm Melanie Ferguson, a creative business coach and multi-six-figure online creative business owner who's made so many mistakes growing my blog and social media to hundreds of thousands of followers, only to look up and have very little to show for it. Once I put my head down and added a few key systems and strategies, everything changed for me. In this podcast, I'll be sharing my proven systems and shortcuts, turning those followers into paying customers. So if you're ready, let's take your online business to the next level and leave all the overwhelm behind. Welcome back to the podcast. I am super thrilled this week to introduce my friend Sara McDaniel from Simply Southern Cottage. She is such a wealth of knowledge behind all things, and I cannot wait to introduce her to you guys. Sara, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Melanie, for having me. I'm so excited.
I'm so glad and excited that you're here too. I mean, I was super thrilled when you said, yes, I can do that. And sometimes you just have to make things happen.
You do. That's right.
So Sara has been in our space, in the blogging space, for about 7 years. She's in the town of Minden, Louisiana right now. And I'm going to let her tell us a little bit about her latest and greatest project.
Yeah. Do I go all the way back to the beginning? Where would you like me to start?
I would love you to start at the beginning. Tell us how you got started in this space and kind of whatever version you want of how you got to where you are today.
Okay. It is a very long story, but I'll try to make it concise, Melanie, for you. But the long and short of it is that I didn't set out to be a creative, right? So I started my career as a classroom teacher and then assistant principal, technology director, and then later transitioned over into educational sales. And it was at that point that I started having some entrepreneurial stirrings in my heart. And so I'd always loved houses and real estate and had dabbled in it a little bit. But I got divorced, and that is what propelled me to get to where I am today. And so after that season was kind of coming to a close, I realized I have this incredible opportunity for a do-over, right? And not everybody gets that luxury. And as bad as my situation was, I was determined to not let that define me and to not let that take me down. And so I was in Corpus Christi, Texas at the time, and thought I would be there forever. Loved living near the beach, had a great community, great church, all the things. But I audibly heard the Lord tell me to move home to Louisiana. And so I'm like, nope, I'm not moving home to Louisiana. I'm happy here in Texas, but he wouldn't let me let it go. And so about 10 months or so after I audibly heard him tell me to move home, I am driving through Minden, Louisiana one day, and I literally come around the corner, see my house. It is completely taken over with red tip photina trees and vines and branches and roof caving in. And I knew that I knew in that minute that house was supposed to be mine. And so it's a crazy long story. It took about 22 months to get this house. It was vacant at the time, but it had been in the family that owned it for almost 100 years. So there was definitely an emotional attachment to it. And so once I was able to get the house, I started a blog and social account, Simply Southern Cottage. And I thought the people in Minden will want to follow along with this renovation, and maybe my mom, my sister. But as I got into it and started blogging and sharing pictures of my home, it literally blew up seemingly overnight. And before I knew it, magazines are sharing, other large accounts are sharing. I was featured in Better Homes and Gardens Cottage Style. We got the cover of that. Did a couple of other houses and projects that got some pretty significant national attention. We were on HGTV last year for Hometown Kickstart with Ben and Aaron Napier. And the biggest thing that is happening this week is that I have been renovating a 6,000 square foot Victorian for an episode of In with the Old on Magnolia Network. And that brings us to where we are today.
That is so exciting. I know you're so excited about that, Sara.
Yeah, I am. It was a big secret. So I kept it a secret from my audience and even our own community, like the entire time we were filming. So it's been a big surprise to reveal it to everybody.
So we kind of skipped over the video that you're going to see this week is actually another home. It's not your
correct
original home. Tell us about it.
Yeah. So in 2021, I bought a 6,000 square foot Victorian, 8 historic villas, a little empty city lot, and a little rent house, sort of all in one transaction. And so I started with like renovating these historic villas, which are now like a little boutique short-term stay property. And so the 6,000 square foot Victorian, I didn't know what I was going to do with it. I mean, you have to watch the show to see the answer to that. But anyway, so I got approached by a casting producer. And they were like, we are casting for this show In with the Old on Magnolia Network. Basically, like, what do you have? And I'm like, well, I've got this Victorian. And we did the pitch reel and presented it to Magnolia, and they picked us. And so we've been filming all this year on this show.
That is so exciting. Now, you have pulled in some of your, you've collaborated with a few of other bloggers. Miss Wendy, we've had her on the podcast.
You will see Wendy Chair Whimsy on there. You will see Brittany Atkinson Art on there. You will see Hayden Gregg, who is an amazing artist that's really known for his artistic floors and walls and ceilings and furniture. So I did pull in a ton of creatives to make this house like amazing.
That is so awesome. So for everyone listening who just completely aspires to get kind of where you have found yourself, give us some tips, some pointers if we were just getting started out.
Sure. Yeah. I don't know that there is like a secret sauce per se, but I will say for me, I contribute a lot of my success to 2 things. So it's consistency, like showing up in your space online, whether it's on your feed, in stories, showing up and spending time with your online community, and then just being your true, authentic self. I mean, my people know like what they see is what they get. Like some days I'm going to show up with no makeup on and dirty hair like I have today, just braids or whatever. And I don't pretend to be something that I'm not. Like I bring everybody along for the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I think people appreciate that, even though I create these curated, lovely homes and spaces, like there's messy and all of that too. And I just lay it all on the table.
So when you started your account, you were sharing things that you were working on personally for that first house.
Correct.
And how did you know what you wanted to share?
That's a great question. So I don't know. And even to this day, I don't plan out my content per se. It's just kind of like whatever I'm doing that day is what I share. So, but basically, I was watching other girls and other accounts, and there's a lot of before and afters and DIYs and processes. And so I just sort of followed kind of that home renovation model that I saw other girls doing, and it evolved into where we are today.
Mm-hmm. And so when you got the first house done, what did you think? Did you think, I'm going to do this again?
Absolutely. Yeah. And my house was not the first like renovation that I did. It was just the first one on that level that I, renovated in front of the entire world, if you will. And so it was so much fun. And I never intended to fall in love with Minden, Louisiana like I have, but I did. And I want everybody to come here and visit. I want them to have cute, adorable places to stay. And so since then, gosh, I've probably done 2 8-plexes, 2 Airbnbs, another rental. I got something else I hadn't told y'all about yet. So it's really addicting to see these old, broken down, derelict properties like come back to life. And it's just such a joy to share that with others.
Definitely. And we will definitely be linking in the show notes, everyone that's listening, just how you can obviously get in touch with Sara, but how you can actually stay in some of these really
Yes,
super fun villas and things that she has set up, the Airbnbs and everything.
for
So
sure.
as you were doing your journey and sharing as you went, tell us a little bit about how you started working with brands on supplies.
Oh, that's a great question. Again, not something I aspired to do. It just sort of happened naturally. I think when my account hit about 30,000 is when I started getting noticed. First of all, it was by like smaller mom and pop Etsy shops. I have a good friend, Stephanie Lalou, that lives down in South Louisiana that has Returning Grace Designs. And she's like, I love your work. I would love to send you some tea towels or some pillow covers. And I'm like what? Like, you're going to send me things and all I have to do is share it. And it helped me like style my home and have these adorable products. And so it started by, doing things for trade. And then one of my very first collaborations was actually with Dress Barn. It was so random because I'm technically not a fashion blogger, and I always kid my people, like, I can't really help you with fashion. But anyway, it was so random. Dress Barn reached out and they paid me and they sent me a dress and some shoes and a bag to like style and take pictures in my home. And I couldn't believe it. And I'm like, you're telling me that like I can make a living like doing this? And slowly as my account began to grow, I would get noticed by larger and larger brands. And so I've worked a lot with JCPenney, Martha Stewart. I have a long-term collaboration with Home Chef, and they have become like family. And anything that I share, like I truly, truly love it. And it's an honor to partner with these brands.
That is so awesome. Because I know a lot of people listening want to break into brands. And I know yours was purely organic, but now that you know what you know, is there any tips you could give for getting started with brands?
Yeah. So when I realized that, I could earn an income from this, like I did send people DMs and pitch them on Instagram to work with me. I would do a lot of tagging of brands. So for example, in my personal home, like I have couches and furniture from Birch Lane and Wayfair. So anything that I was sharing organically, like I would tag those brands just to be kind and show off their amazing products. And they noticed that. And then they are the ones that would reach out a lot of times and want to work with me. So I think anything that you can do to show off a brand and how you're already using it in your home and get their attention is a great way to start.
Awesome. And so this is a segue. This is my sneaky segue. My backdoor approach.
Sure.
This is the part I want to learn. I always tell my friends, I'm like, okay, so I like to ask the questions that I want to know the answer to.
Yeah.
So segue is from working with brands to actually having your own product line.
That's interesting because that also happened organically. So I have a collection of rugs with Orient rugs, and another long story, but I'll make it super short. And the moral of this story is you never know who you're going to interact with today that can affect your life like 10 years down the road. You don't know. So when I was married, I didn't share this earlier, but we actually lived in Salt Lake, and one of our neighbors would come over, the little 10-year-old girl, 12-year-old girl, and feed our horses when we traveled. Okay. So that was many, many moons ago. Fast forward, get divorced, move to Texas, then Louisiana. And this now 10 to 12-year-old girl has grown up and is the brand manager for Orient Rugs. And so she reached out and just said, basically, like, I'm all grown up now. I have a grown up job, and wanted to partner with me, send me rugs to style in my home, take pictures, post about Orient, et cetera, et cetera. So she ended up moving on to big and better things because she's amazing. But I stayed in contact with Orient all these years, and probably about, 4 years or so after working with them with a brand influencer type of relationship, they were like, we love what you're doing. We love your brand. Why don't we make a collection of rugs specific to Simply Southern Cottage? And I know that sounds like so simplistic and primitive, But again, it's like showing kindness to these brands, being a solid partner up front, not knowing who you're going to interact with today that can change your life forever. And so that's how I got into having product.
And is it nice? Is it wonderful? Do you
It
love
is. I do. I love the whole design process. Orient is amazing. I've actually been out to their offices in Anderson, South Carolina to meet with the team, and everybody's involved. I mean, I obviously have a direct contact, but I also can, text the senior VP or the president like at any time. It is truly an amazing American-owned company.
And where can we find those rugs?
So they can be found on Amazon, Walmart, Wayfair, Overstock right now. If you just go and search Simply Southern Cottage rugs. But also just in recent days, we launched a collection with Ivan Smith Furniture, which is a regional furniture chain here in Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas. So there's 44 stores, I believe. So you can go in store to Ivan Smith and see my rugs.
That is so awesome. So that's so inspiring too. I love how it was organic, but that also rings to that lends to the fact that like anyone could do this.
Yes. I mean, like I told you when we started, I was a teacher. Like my full intention, I'm 46. So by the time I'm late 40s, early 50s, like I was going to be a school superintendent, a curriculum director, some kind of high level executive in the school district world. And I do still teach teachers and I'm still involved with education, but my whole mind shift has changed.
And so speaking of changes, tell us a little bit about your daily schedule.
Oh, goodness. I wish I could tell you that I have this planner and it says from 8 to 9, I'm going to do this, 9 to 10, I'm going to do this. Now, I definitely have a Google Calendar that I live or die by. But when you have rental property and short-term rentals and you have your hands in as many things that I do, you have to live flexibly because you never know when a toilet is going to stop up. Or a couple of weeks ago, we had a bear show up in the backyard of one of my properties and everything gets derailed. So even though I do have like set things I do, whether I'm posting on Instagram, Facebook, interacting with my audience, checking on my girls at the villas, working with my team on renovation, I have to hold my schedule loosely because things can change on a dime.
Hey, Melanie Ferguson here. I have created a content planner for creatives that's unique to content creators. It's a 52-week planning guide and calendar designed to help you manage your time, help you stay organized, consistent, and really just know what to do and when. From planning your content to making sure you're on track every single week, this planner allows you to focus on what matters most for your business. So if you're looking for a way to keep all of your things organized, be able to be ahead of the game and know exactly what to do and when, check it out at creativesonfirepodcast.com/planner. That's creativesonfirepodcast.com/planner. So when you talked about being consistent, do you have any systems in place for being consistent on your Instagram, or how does that look for your daily?
Yeah, great question. So I am in stories every single day. I mean, I bring people along for like every minute of my day. Sometimes it's planned and like I know specifically like what we're going to talk about or what I'm going to share. And then other days, like I just wing it. Today I started the day talking about In With the Old that's airing, Wednesday night. I had to go to a meeting at one of our city parks. And so I, did a video and talked about that. But as far as in feed, here's a great lesson for your listeners. I started posting 7 days a week, every day, 7 days a week. And I quickly realized like, I cannot keep this up. Like I can't create content like, cause like you'll get burned out. So then I dropped down to about 5 days a week. And so now I would say I am about 3 to 5 days a week. And so I'm consistent in the fact that my audience knows I'm going to post 3 to 5 days a week, but they know I am going to be in stories every single day. I do sometimes take a little break on Sundays and either take off on Sundays or I don't post that much. And they know that. But the thing is that I show up and they know I'm going to be there every day.
That is such great advice. And that is why, Instagram is kind of one of those platforms you can get away with that. You can
Yes,
get away with less in the feed, and as long as you're consistent and present other places.
that's right.
Um, Tell us a little bit about your story schedule, because I know you were sharing a little bit about that with me earlier, but like that first slide in the morning, and then maybe kind of loosely, I know the rest is, but like, what does it look like?
Yeah. So again, depending on if it's planned out or if I'm just winging it, which is probably 50-50. Usually I get up in the mornings and I have quiet time, coffee. I'm posting usually around 7:15-ish, going through, answering DMs, engaging with other, followers, people in my niche. And then usually by anywhere between 9 and 10:30, like I'm saying good morning to everybody. And I'm sort of like setting the tone for the day, like again, sometimes I'll have planned things we're going to talk about. So I kind of, say good morning, greet everybody, maybe ask an engagement question, what's the weather like where you live, or swipe this slider if you are doing X, Y, and Z today. Just something to kind of engage them off the bat. And then I let them know, like, okay, today we're going to be going to the villas and we're going to be looking at wallpaper or whatever. So it's very methodical and planned. And I try to do as much interaction with my audience. So I solicit their feedback and then post their feedback so others can learn from them all throughout the day. And it's sort of like a story, a beginning, a middle, and then end. And then I close out the day and, provide some summarization thoughts and do it all again the next day.
So where do you, or is it even a thought about where you weave in your affiliate posts?
Oh, yes, that's a great question. So I do try to do things as organically as possible. And so just as a perfect example, this morning I was making a shake for breakfast. And so I showed my little Blend Jet blender, and then also did a link for AG1, which is a supplement that I utilize and that I absolutely love. And so it was a natural progression in my day where I started the morning, told everybody hello, and then, oh, by the way, like, let me talk to you while I'm making this shake. And so sometimes it's a direct call to action, tap here to visit my blender. And other times it may be where I am just getting ready and I'm just talking to them about random stuff and putting on, makeup. And here's a link to the makeup. And I don't even mention it, but the link is there.
I love that organic. I'm giggling
Yes.
because you said, visit my blender.
Oh my goodness. Visit my link for my blender.
I know what you meant. I know we know,
Yes.
I know what you mean. So that is a great tip for everyone listening. So she's not always just like, here's a picture of my blender, buy it or whatever.
Right.
It's literally her using the product or, and maybe talking about it face to camera, or it could just be her using the product and not mentioning the product at all and linking it on the slide, correct?
That's right. And also, I just want to make note too, is that I'm very careful, or I try to be at least, about being too salesy with my audience, because I never want them to think like that I'm pressuring them to buy. And so pretty frequently, like I will say, I share affiliate links. Like that's one of the ways that I put food on my table, right? But I also want them to know, like, there is never pressure for you to buy. If it is something that is a fit for you, that you can put within your budget, that you don't have to go into debt for, or a gift that maybe you could give to somebody, like, then do it. But if not, like, don't do it. But so many people, Melanie, have told me, like, even just this morning, I released my holiday gift guides on my blog, and people are like, oh my gosh, like, thank you. Like, it makes my shopping so much easier. If I can go to one place, I can see items that you have vetted. You either have them, you've checked the reviews, and I can be done with it. And so it's also me providing a service to make lives easier.
100%. Everybody needs to hear that.
Yes.
You never know who is expecting and actually counting on you to
That's
provide
right.
that information. Once you've done it a few years in a row, they start like counting on it, right?
That's right. Yes, for sure.
So, okay, Sarah, as we round this out, tell us a little bit about how you stay focused and inspired and motivated.
Oh, that is a good question. So I'm going to answer this maybe in a way that you're not expecting. So if your listeners have a W-2 job, there is nothing wrong with that. Let me just preface what I'm about to say with that. But I stay motivated to push and hustle and work hard every single day because I never want to have to work a W-2 job ever again. And I've said before, like I will eat ramen noodles before I would go back to working a W-2 job. And so honestly, like that is my motivation. I love my life. My life is a lot. I am busy all of the time. I have a ton of like help surrounding me. But it is very important to me that I continue to live this life of freedom and flexibility. If I want to go out on a kayak on the bayou as soon as we get off this podcast, like I can do that because I don't have a boss hanging over me, right? So I stay motivated by continuing to desire this life of freedom and flexibility, and I will just about do anything to make sure I can keep it.
I love that answer. And it's the answer a lot of us who do this for a living would give because it's, again, nothing to the other. It's just not in our DNA.
Right.
To be wanting to sit at a desk.
That's right. That's right.
So, all right. So let's round this out with talking a little bit about where everybody can tune in on Wednesday night.
Okay. So Wednesday night, we are going to be on Magnolia Network at 9 p.m. Central Time, In with the Old. And the episode is called Minden's Mysterious Yellow House. If you don't have Magnolia Network on your cable or satellite provider, you can stream it on Discovery Plus, and there is a free trial of Discovery Plus if you want to try it out long enough to watch the episode. Or if you have HBO Max, you can stream it on HBO Max.
I love that. And I will put a link to everything in here. And where can we find you online?
Perfect. So across all platforms, I am at Simply Southern Cottage. My blog is simplysouthern.cottage.com. And shameless plug, if you want to come stay in Minden, you can book a stay at mindenstays.com for any of my short-term rentals.
Yay. Love, love, love. Sarah, you have been such an awesome guest. I've been so privileged to have you here, and all of the people listening have been privileged to listen. So I just appreciate you so much.
Thank you for having me, Melanie.
Thank you so much, my friend, for tuning in each and every week. If you learned something new or were inspired from today's episode, I would be incredibly grateful if you would take a minute and just leave a review. Bonus points if you share this episode by screenshotting it and tagging me on social at Creatives on Fire Podcast. I'll share you in my stories when you do. In the meantime, keep rocking your business, and I'll meet you back here next Tuesday. And don't forget, no one else will ever be you, and that is your creative superpower.